Hi, this is Jenna again, and I am going to show you in this video how to set up a show on the new web and also how to navigate the show page and how to find your URL that you can put in your evites and how to send out evites as well. And so we are here already signed in and in Consultants Corner. There's two ways that you can go ahead and get into your shows. If you look on the tools and quick links right here in the middle panel, you will see that the 5th one down says My Shows and Orders. You can go ahead and click on that and that will take you into your shows. Or if you want to go on the banner headlines up here under My Shows, you can see it pulls down a show, pulls down a scrolling bar menu, and you can click on My Shows and Orders from there. So there's two easy ways to go ahead and get into your shows and orders. So that will go ahead and you can see shows that you have already set up, that you have open. Some of them will be closed, so if they have been closed already, under here where it says submitted, it'll have a date, and you can go in and look at that show and it'll have the date that it was submitted. But to set up a new show, what you want to do is up here you can either set up a new individual order. So if you just have an order that's not based off of a show, you can click on that, and then the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You just enter in the name and address and then what they want, of course, and then new show. So we're going to say that we're going to set up a new show, and all of this information in here, just so you know, is going to be made up. And this is going to be a test show for the tutorial base. And so I'm going to say it's going to be a cooking show, and then it'll ask for the show date. You can click on the calendar right here and it'll bring down up a calendar. You can select the months and you can select the year. So let's just say we have a show for May 9th. And then it will automatically fill in the show close date to be 2 days later. So if you want to change that, then you can. So say, well, I like to close my shows on Tuesdays, or whenever you want, you can go ahead and change the date that you close the show. The reason why that is important is because if your show date closes, then guests can no longer find your show on your personal website. So you have to make sure that if you have not yet closed the show and your host is still trying to collect some outside orders and people are going to be going to your personal website to order, you need to make sure that the show is still open here. Otherwise, say if it's like May 14th and the show hasn't closed and someone's trying to place an order, they won't be able to find it because the computer thinks that the show is closed because it's past the date. That's why that's important. Now then it's just show start time. So let's say I have it at 6:30 p.m. Change it from a.m. to p.m. And then show end time is required, but it's not really terribly important. I always just say that it is 2 hours after the start of the show. And then your show number. The only reason why the show numbers is important really is just for anybody who's switching over from P3, because we are already going to have a show number 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of that. So you need to find out where you have left off. So say if you left off on show number 34 or 654, it doesn't matter. You need to figure out where you left off, because if I put in show number 1 and I tried to submit the show, it would give me an error and say that I already have a show with that show number. So then I'd have to come in here and change it and find a number that I have not yet used. So if you're in P3, just look at the last show that you've submitted and find out what that number is, and then just go the next one up. So if you've submitted 251 shows, then your show number should start at 252. So, and then you can enter in your show name. A lot of times I like to change the show name to the name of my host, because if we're going to be sending out evites, people will then see that the show name is something like Jamie's Pajama Party and Snacking. So obviously it's not the best name in the world, but so you can see you can name it for anything you want. So I've done like Christine's Holiday Show, or any kind of theme show that you're doing, or you can even just leave it simple and say Jamie's cooking show, or Pampered Chef party. So I like to just have the name of my host in there just so that it's obvious from the get-go who the host is and what the theme is and what the company is. So that's what I do. So first name, okay, so Victoria says it's going to be Jamie, and the last name is going to be, oh, I don't know, Tarullo. So then email address, this is important because this is going to then create an email address for this customer. So, and all of their information will be stored under their email address. We'll just say at gmail.com. If you do not have an email address for them, well, we'll get to that later, because really for the host, you should have an email address regardless. Unless your host is someone who just absolutely does not use the internet, you can bypass it by putting in their phone number and then at tpc.com. That's thepamperedchef.com. But really for a host, you probably should be having their email. It's going to be really important as a way to contact them, as a way for them to get their receipts. So for the day phone, just put in whatever their phone number is, and then phone that appears on e-invitations you'll see is starred. So whichever one that you put the phone number into, that's the one you have to select. So day, evening, or cell phone. And then address again is made up. So we'll just say Pampered Chef Lane, and then the city and the state, and then down here show location is going to be host address, ship to location, host address. I mean, you can change it to the co-host address or enter in a completely different one. This one's great because some people, like if you have a catalog show and the host wants everything shipped to her work address instead of her home address because everybody who's ordering is at work, you could go ahead and just put in other, and then it would ask you for what the shipping information, the ship to location. And then it tells you what your sales tax percentage is. Show on my calendar. I always make it private because if you make it public, everybody can see the host and their address and all the host's information. So I always say private, which means that I can see it, but if you come to my personal website, you can't see it. So then you go ahead and create your show, and then it will tell you, yay, your show has been created. Just go ahead and click OK. And now we are in the central location for how we can go ahead and we can edit our show, and we can do lots of different things in here. This is like the headquarters for our show. And so it automatically brings you to this page. How do you get to this page? You can go click back to My Shows. Again, that takes you back to the My Shows and Order page, and you can see all your shows here. So here's Jamie Tarullo, which is the show that I set up. If you want to get back into that editing the show information page, you click here either on the show number, the show type, or the show date. It doesn't matter which one you click on. Click on any one of those, and it will take you right into this central information. So you can edit, of course, the information here. If you are a consultant acting as a host, you need to click this when you're setting it up, and your information will be put into that, and then that saves you some time. So here's all the information we've already put in. A basic kind of rundown of what's going on with your show, what kind it is, the date, the start time, how many guests have been invited. This is just through the Evites, how many guests have RSVP'd that they are attending, who've ordered, your sales, your commissionable sales, tax, food tax, and booking. So a basic rundown of your show information. Now, if you want to find your show URL to send people in if you're sending out Evites, or if you want to post it on Facebook, you're going to click right here on Show Page. That's going to take you to your show page on your website, and you can set it up. So here's a theme. You can kind of select different themes that you want to be displayed on your host's show page. So we've got Power Cooking, we've got Happy Hour, we've got a generic cooking show, spring cooking show, some of our new recipes, chocolate desserts, 3-minute tips. So just scroll through these and pick whatever you want to be hosted on your show page. And then it will have a featured photo. If you want to change the image, you can go ahead and do that. They've got a bunch of ones that are already selected, or if you want to select your own, you can just select File, Browse, and that will bring up, of course, the way you can upload your own files and go into your own pictures and upload your own file. But for the most part, keep it easy, keep it simple. Just select one that the company has, kind of whatever fits your show, the theme for your show, and then go ahead and you can change all of this information. This is the show description. So they automatically have this in here. Come over to my place to relax, catch up, and sample fun food. We'll sample a tasty recipe and get easy cooking tips. Just bring a friend. I can't wait to hear from you. So you can change this, and I usually change it, add a little bit more personalization. I like to, again, add the host information in there so that it feels a little bit more personal. Then you can add like bold, italics, and underlined, and all of that stuff. You can change it. And then here you can add a recipe, so you can upload this exact recipe that you're doing at your show if you'd like. And down here is where the important part is. It's your show URL. This you can copy and paste into your Facebook and all those great social media sites. So you just save or publish and it will update. So click on publish and it says your message has been saved.